Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, word to my brethren over there in the Ukraine. Shout out to the Ukraine. Speaking of the Ukraine, we're going to talk about Vasyl Lomachenko because I recently watched a video on Boxing Truth's channel. So much shout out, much love, much just everything good to my main man, Boxing Truth. Good channel, man. Go subscribe to him. He putting out some good videos. Not everything I agree with, but he puts out good videos, gives his honest and fair assessments of fighters, and overall, man, like just a good channel. He's been doing interviews, covering fights out there in New York. Didn't know he was in New York. If I would have known, I would have hit him up and I would have liked to meet him when I was in New York. But besides that, man, I watched one of his videos recently, and he was talking about Vasyl Lomachenko and just like how he believes that Lomachenko has a chance to achieve welterweight greatness. And that's a pretty big claim and prediction because being that he's already at 130, he's still like 3 weight classes away from welterweight. So he compared his run, the dominant run he's having, making these championship fighters just quit on their stool. Champion after champion quit. He's making them all quit, and he compared it to great runs in the past, like Pacquiao in the late 2000s. Mike Tyson in the 80s. Just guys like that, and it is one of those sort of special runs in boxing where you're seeing something special, and if you know anything about the sport, you should know that, and you should appreciate it for what it is. But he wanted to make a claim where he said that he thought Manny Pacquiao, or he thought that Lomachenko could, in many ways, become the next Manny Pacquiao, that he could achieve some of the same things Manny Pacquiao achieved. And you know what's crazy about that is, like, I don't think it's crazy. What's crazy about that is I don't think it's crazy because, like, Lomachenko's a great fighter, man, and like there's already fighters at 140 and 135 and 147 that I think he could beat. I'll be honest with you. Like, if he fought a Mikey Garcia, I think he'll beat Mikey Garcia. If he fought a Terence Crawford, I might slightly favor Terence Crawford, but not with confidence. I think from a skill standpoint, Lomachenko would ice Terence Crawford, but the only thing stopping him from beating Terence Crawford would be power. That's about it. So what I'm saying is, like, I agree. I think Manny Pacquiao not Manny Pacquiao, Lomachenko to a much lesser extent, because we got to recognize how great what Pacquiao did was moving from freaking flyweight or whatever it was to 147 pounds and winning world titles in 8 weight classes, something like that. So you got to recognize it for what it was, but to a lesser extent, doing some of what Pacquiao did, dominating at 130, dominating at 135, dominating at 140, and then going up to 147 and beating some dudes. I think he's capable of that. And the reason is this, man, is like, and I know a lot of people are going to say, like, oh, well, you're crazy, BT. Lomachenko is too small for these guys. Some of the same things they're saying about Lomachenko, they were saying about Pacquiao. Oh, well, Pacquiao's too small for Cotto. Whoops Cotto's ass. Pacquiao's too small for De La Hoya. Whoops De La Hoya's ass. And one thing that Pacquiao and Lomachenko both had going for them is the fact that laterally, moving left to right, side to side, their movements are just as fast. I mean, Lomachenko's not as fast as Pacquiao, but he's equally as shifty, if you know what I mean. Like, he knows how to throw a punch and shift real quick and get to another spot and create a new punching angle, and boom, you just caught a left hook to the body and you don't even know it. So I think from a skill standpoint, his skills are going to get him through a lot of these fights. And we can't really question the man's character, because we saw in the Slater fight how he handled the fight, how he handled in a second pro fight, how he handled adversity. Even though he lost and it was a close fight, he handled it very well. Got a lot of learning on the job, and that shaped his character. That's why you see him making guys like Nicholas Walters, Mariaga, Rigondeaux, Sosa quit on their stool. He's making all these guys quit. Because he's gotten that experience and he's evolved and he's gotten better with every fight. So he's getting better and better and better. And I don't think it's crazy that he can go up and beat a Mikey Garcia. In fact, I think he'd ice Mikey Garcia. I'll be the first to say it. If that fight ever comes to fruition, he will ice Mikey Garcia. Because Mikey Garcia, like, if you go look at the guys he's fought. Like, go look at the guys he's fought. Like, and I'm not talking about like guys that he fought 3 or 4 years ago. I'm talking about since he came back to boxing after the promotional issues. He fought guys. Like Elougio Rojas, a cannon fodder opponent, doesn't really move around a lot. Zlatikin, a guy that he could just overpower. Didn't really matter what Zlatikin did. Broner, a guy with fast hands with slow feet. He's there to be hit. And then now Mikey Garcia is be fighting Sergey Lipinets, which is actually an interesting fight. A fight that I think he should win dominantly because I don't think Lipinets is as good as advertised. But it's a fight where I'm interested for Mikey Garcia because I'm not sure if like how he'll be able to handle someone moving like Lipinets. Lipinets is a good mover. So Lomachenko, for what he brings to the table, is something that a lot of these top level guys that people like to praise and say they're pound for pound fighters or pound for pound kings. It's something that these guys don't handle well. Like Mikey Garcia, yeah, he's undefeated, but never really beat guys who were considered movers. Same thing with Terrence Crawford. If you look at Terrence Crawford's whole run in boxing, the guys that he struggled with in his career, you look at like Hank Lundy, a guy that came up from a smaller weight, was known as a faster fighter. He was able to land flush shots on Terrence Crawford before Crawford overpowered him and the weight advantage kicked in. Then you had guys like Gamboa, another guy who's a mover with speed. He landed on Crawford. So if those guys can land on Crawford and those guys can move and confuse him and pretty much just have success against them because they moved and they were fast and they were sharp with the punches for a certain amount of time. What makes you think that a guy like Lomachenko couldn't go up in weight with the way he moves, with the way he hits angles and land on those guys? The only question would be is would he have enough power that carries up with him to keep those guys off? That's really the only question. But he will land on those guys. He'll land on Terrence Crawford. He will sure as hell land on Mikey Garcia. So I gotta agree with Boxing Truth, man. Like definitely 100%. I see him going up, man. I see him definitely, unless something crazy happens, dominating some more at 130, going up to 135. If Mikey Garcia wants that work, he'll get iced by Lomachenko. No disrespect to Mikey, but that's just how I see the fight playing out. I don't think he really has anything for Mikey other than power, and I don't think Lomachenko's going to be there and sit in front of him long enough for him to be able to set his feet and throw those meaningful shots that he likes to throw. And quite honestly, I think some of Mikey's characteristics, like the character he is as a fighter inside, will really begin to show if they ever fought, because Mikey Garcia has gone on record in saying that he doesn't really like boxing like that. Like, he's not really a guy who likes boxing. Lomachenko loves boxing. This is his life. Like, he wants to be one of the greatest fighters of all time, and he acts and behaves that way. He recently just came out and said, like, I don't think I had that great of a year, and he just made Ricky Dale quit in the stool. So he demanded a lot from himself, and I think his character, his skill set, his quality of opposition, his quality of experience, just everything I'm saying, he'll go up and he'll beat a lot of these guys. He'll beat, name me a fighter at 140, he beats them. Name me a fighter at 135, he beats them. I think really the true test for Lomachenko won't be until he gets to if he decides to go as high as 147, like, and really dare to be great like that. I mean, because it's funny let's go through some welterweights right now. We'll go through a couple welterweights in my opinion. All right, so you got Keith Thurman, you got Danny Garcia, you got Sean Porter, you got Terrence Crawford, you got Jeff Horn. Saddam Ali, bunch of guys. I think he'll beat the following. I think he'll ice the following welterweights at 147. He'll ice Sean Porter. I don't know ice Sean Porter. He'll beat Sean Porter though. He'll outbox Sean Porter. He would ice Danny Garcia. He would struggle with Keith Thurman, I think, but I think he beats him. Terrence Crawford. He could outpoint Terrence. I could definitely see him outpointing Terrence. Terrence Crawford, guys, like, look, I love Terrence Crawford, but he hasn't really beaten, like, he has never fought somebody. There's two types of fighters Terrence Crawford has never fought. He's never fought someone that's the same size as him, that can move like really, really well around the ring. All the guys he's beaten at 140. For the most part, were just guys who are stationary targets for the most part. And if they weren't stationary targets, then they were guys who came from other weight classes. So he's never beat somebody like that. He never beat a real true pressure fighter. Like, so there's still some things about Terrence Crawford, guys. I'm telling you, I'm not trying to hate on the guy. He's one of my favorite fighters in boxing, but there's still some things about him that he hasn't seen in the ring that will be tested soon. And we're gonna see who he really is, if he really is all he's cracked up to be. But I think Lomachenko could beat him. I think that's a fight where I slightly favor Terrence, but Lomachenko could beat him. Mikey he beats, and yeah, Jeff Horn he could beat. Even though Jeff Horn rehydrate and probably try to bully the hell out of him. I don't know, man. I just think Lomachenko to me is one of those special talents. Like, it's not out of the question that he can go to 147 and start winning and achieve some greatness similar to Pacquiao. So, yeah, man, I gotta agree with Boxing Truth. Go check out his video. I'll leave it in the description. Um, and let me know what you guys think, man. How high do you think Lomachenko can go? I mean, I'm looking at the measurables right now. He's listed at 5'7", Lomachenko, with a 65.5-inch reach advantage to give you guys a good barometer of where that puts him with other fighters. You know, Terrence Crawford is 5'8" with a 70-inch reach advantage. So Terrence Crawford's only an inch taller with less than 5 inches of reach, or yeah, less than 5 inches of reach advantage. Mike Garcia is actually shorter than Lomachenko, supposedly, and he has a 3-inch, 2.5-inch reach advantage on Lomachenko. So it's not like Lomachenko is significantly smaller than these guys. Um, but the real issue when he does fight these guys is when they rehydrate, because we know Terrence can rehydrate as high as 159. Lomachenko, I don't know what he I think rehydrated is at like 135 or somewhere around 40. So I'm not really sure what he'll look like when he starts going up that high, if he decides to go up that high. But I'm not gonna lie, I'd love to see it. I think Lomachenko, we kind of have in many ways what we have with Pacquiao. When Pacquiao was moving up through weights and he was knocking dudes out left and right, people were interested. You wanted to see what happened next with Pacquiao. Just how far could he go? How great could he be? And he ultimately proved himself to be one of the top 10 to 15 greatest pound-for-pound fighters who ever lived. And I think Lomachenko, to a lesser extent, is kind of brought like that Pacquiao factor back to boxing, to where we're seeing a guy dominate guys through weight classes who are world champions, making them quit on their stool. He's doing unprecedented things, looking sensational while doing it, and it's getting people intrigued just to see how far he can go. Whether you like him or hate him, you know, the fact that we're talking about him having to move to 140, 147 to get a challenge, that should tell you just how great he truly is. That's what it is, man. That's my opinion. That's my little response to Boxing Truth in his video, just what I thought from what I saw on it. And yeah, man, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. How high does Lomachenko go? Can he achieve some welterweight greatness similar to Manny Pacquiao? Let me know in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.